The world as we know it has changed forever. We have to unite more than ever. It has never been easier to connect. Social media is the great equalizer. As we continue to learn from each other, it allows us to challenge our beliefs, turn our fears into action. How far can we go? It's up to us. We have to conquer our fears, crush mediocrity, stay motivated, dream big. If your dreams don't scare you, they aren't big enough. In the think tank, we will never settle for anything less than an extraordinary life. Michael, so happy to have you on, man.
Man, I'm glad to be here. It's a pleasure to definitely be on your channel in your house, so to speak.
Yeah, you're in the think tank. You're in the think
Yes,
tank, man.
sir.
That's what I'm
Yes,
talking about.
sir.
You're in the think tank.
That's good.
Well, we give
Yep.
value. No, I'm worldwide. I give value. So whatever we talk about, all my associates around the world get it and share it. So that's the whole
That's
idea to
powerful.
lift you up. It's not about me, it's about you. I want to give value to you. So tell the world a little bit about Michael. Who is Michael and where you from? And I know you have a famous brother. Tell us about a little bit about your background.
Man, I'm a proud Tampa, Florida native, born and raised right here in Tampa. You mentioned my brother is the most humble Della Toro, Levon McNeal,
Right.
world-renowned speaker, peak performance, professional Toastmaster. He
Mm-hmm.
has his CSP speaking designation, so he is definitely a beast in his own right.
Oh yes.
He is my younger brother. I just want the world to know that. Although he looks older, he is
Oh,
my
he is your
younger
younger brother. Wow.
brother. Absolutely. I just have the baby face. But yeah, man. So I went to the University of South Florida, got my business degree, and I'm proud to be in business and
Right.
work for corporate America, Citicorp, Solomon Brothers, New York Life, and some others. Had an 11-year career in Tampa General. So being in the financial space is
Mhm.
where I've spent most of my working life, and
Okay.
it's very comfortable for me.
Wonderful. So basically, you are, I would say, more or less a financial consultant,
Yes,
right?
absolutely, and educator.
An educator, and you empower people to take their finances to another level,
Absolutely, absolutely.
including
I've worked
in the
with
life, the whole circle as we talked before.
yep. Yep, from the beginning to the end.
Right. Okay. Okay. So part of your let me know some. What are some of your programs that not sell, but you do in your education process?
Well, I've done a financial literacy course. Actually, partnered with my church and my pastor,
Hmm.
and for the first time in our church's 90 plus history, we had a fi- a financial literacy course that we did, and actually it lasted from January through like August.
Right.
Um, and so that was absolutely powerful. And the great thing about that was we had people who were in their teens, 20s, all the way up into their 70s and 80s who were a part. And we just broke down things. And my pastor came from a biblical perspective, and I
Right.
came from a financial perspective. And one of our deacons was also a co teacher as well.
Hmm.
So it was really powerful. And the testimonies that came from that were people were more enlightened of the things that they had done wrong
Right.
and where they could go from here. Along with that, I said, me and my business partner, we've built an agency where we can literally help people with end of life decisions,
Hmm.
as well as helping those business owners, clergy, and other people who may not have a quote unquote retirement, if you will, but we have a way that they can have their own source of funding available
Hmm.
to help them avoid the ups and downs of being in the market, because 2008 really showed a lot of people just um, how much at risk their whole financial future is.
Well, you
Yeah.
can tell. Well, I can tell you stories about that because I was heavily invested in real estate in 2008, and
Wow.
I got pretty I got pretty good beat up. So
Yeah.
even though I was prepared, but it was so devastating. And what people have to know right now that it's about to happen again.
Come on.
About to happen again.
Yep.
So you've got to be prepared. So people like you who educate people. As a matter of fact, when I met what's his name like yesterday, Pastor what's his name?
The Wilkerson.
Yeah, the Dr. Wilkinson, right? Yeah,
Yep.
and he was an amazing man, and he gave me a book, and he said, Martin, read this book. And I know you know him here. It says How Money Works.
That's right. That's
Now we
it.
all, I'm a grown man, so I've been around. But he gave me this book. He says, read it, because he's a financial advisor also, you know.
Yep.
And not to say that I didn't know anything, but the education part, there's certain parts that we didn't know. And the book,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I knew a lot about it, but it enlightened me to
Right.
how to use money wisely. You know,
Exactly.
so it's not my forte. I mean, I know a little bit, but when I consult with people like you and him, it gives me a perspective of, hey, you've done good, but you can do better. There's always a learning process.
Always.
You know,
Always. And
yeah.
that's how people go from where they are to where they want to be, because too
Hmm.
many times we get caught up in um, just the rote memory of life. We just do
Right.
what we do because that's what we've always done.
Hmm.
And it's those people that are always seeking to do better in
Right.
life, in work, in business, in parenting, in relationships. If you're always seeking to do better, you're never stagnated.
Right.
You're never the same person that you were, because there again, you know, the Bible says where um, people perish for a lack of knowledge.
Right.
So we have dedicated ourselves to helping people know more.
Hmm.
My brother says it's not knowledge is power. It's applied knowledge is power.
There you go. Applied. There you go.
Okay,
Applied knowledge.
it
Yes.
doesn't matter what you know. It matters what you apply. That's where you get the change from.
Right.
So our goal is to minimize people not knowing, because once you know,
Hmm.
now it's on you
That's
to
right.
use it,
Hmm.
and take that and see how it applies to you. Like what you said, that's a book that's full of information, a
Hmm.
lot of it that you know, but then some is like, you know what, I didn't think about that, I didn't know that.
That's right.
And those little nuggets are what changes from where you are to where you want to be.
Right. I know I was really enthralled by it. I mean, I know, like I said, I know a lot of it, but I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a planner. I'm just an entrepreneur.
Yep.
And when I read the rule of 72, it kind of
Come on.
awakened my,
Come
it's
on.
like, wow.
Come on.
He went into the compound, simple interest and compound
That's right.
interest and the difference. I mean, you know all of those things,
Yes.
but if you haven't been taught about it or it wasn't ingrained in you, then
Yep.
you bypass it. But when it comes to it, when I read it, it's like, wow,
Yes.
open my eyes again,
Yes.
so that's part of what you do. So definitely, but I'm interested in, you and I spoke yesterday about people planning. I know it's a subject that people don't talk about very much, but the end of
Yes.
life decisions that we have
Yes.
to make and how we have to prepare for it. So tell us a
That's
little
right.
bit about that, because I know that's your focus right now.
It is, and I have to give honor where honor is due.
Right.
My business partner, Mr. Mike Coker,
Michael,
is
yes.
really the catalyst behind that, because he has 42 years of experience in the financial space, but
Right.
25 of those was working directly with funeral homes.
Right.
Okay,
Hmm.
and so when he and I spoke about our company, and he shared with me just the power of prearranged funerals.
Hmm.
Okay, pre-need.
Right.
Like,
Pre-need.
you know what? Let's go for it,
Right.
because it's sorely needed,
Hmm.
and we prepare for vacation. We
Right.
prepare for kids to go to college. We prepare for a new job. We prepare for marriage. We prepare for
Hmm.
children. We prepare for divorce. We prepare for everything except the day when you are going to leave here, which Nobody knows.
And everybody's going to go one day. No
And
matter how you want to
everybody
put it up,
guaranteed you,
your
you
appointed, it's called an appointed hour, right?
come on, yes, sir. That
Yeah,
that is one appointment you will make no matter
right.
what.
No matter what. Mm-hmm.
So what we see in our profession is the devastation that can happen when people pass away prematurely, and it catches the family,
Oh,
the
man.
spouse, the
Yeah,
children completely off guard, and now they've got to deal with the financial mess
right.
that is left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And when I was working with New York Life, I would have people on my phone crying because they were tearing up the house trying to find a policy, and I've got to tell them, I'm sorry, ma'am, we sent out applications, but you never sent it back.
Right, right, right.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
imagine you have children that are now having to have to scrape, and they may be going through financial hardship themselves,
Right, right.
and now they've got to scratch and scrape to try to bury dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So on top of the emotional devastation, now they got a financial crisis. And
Exactly.
that can take years
Mm-hmm.
for family members to overcome.
True.
It does not have to be.
Right, right, right. So,
Yep.
so your purpose, like you said, is part financial literacy, but it's also education.
Correct.
Very few people
Correct.
talk about that.
Correct.
It's a
And
subject that is it's not morbid. It has to be addressed.
correct.
Yeah.
And when you take off the emotional hat and
Hmm.
you look at it from a financial standpoint, it has a whole different connotation,
Right.
because the business of pre-need, if you will, is multifaceted.
Right.
One, it helps the family to put in place exactly what mom's wishes were,
Hmm.
dad's wishes, grandma, grandpa's wishes,
Right.
so we can actually know what they want, and we don't have to think about it. We don't have to argue about it, because
Right.
the more voices, the more opinions.
Hmm.
Okay. So that helps.
Hmm.
Then, because if you pre plan,
Hmm.
you on average spend less money
Right.
than at need.
Hmm.
Okay. Because you have people who feel, well, I think dad would want this. Well, he wants the best. No, don't worry about the price. That was daddy.
Right. Right.
Okay. So by pre planning your funeral service, that doesn't mean it's going to come faster. That just means that you are putting in place what is going to be necessary 10, 20, 30, 40 years down the road,
And
or it could be next week,
every year the cost goes up. The cost goes up every year.
just like everything else.
Right. Right.
Gas, milk, cheese, eggs,
Hmm.
a car, a house, everything goes up. It's the
Right.
same thing with a funeral.
Hmm.
So if you can lock in a portion at today's costs that are guaranteed, even if it's 10, 20, 30 years down the road, a portion that is locked in at today's cost
Hmm.
versus everything being retail at the time of need 30 years from now.
Exactly.
If the average, being that the average funeral right now, traditional burial, is between 8 and 12,000 now,
Right.
factor inflation at 3%, that means every 10 years that's going up 30%.
Wow. Wow.
In 30 short years, you're looking at 90% higher than what it is not right now.
Exactly.
On the top, that means on the top end, you're looking at almost $30,000 in 30 years.
Right. Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Okay. And here's the other financial hardship. You
Hmm.
have people right now that only have 10, $15,000 in a final expense policy, let's say.
Right.
If they live to be 30 years, do you think that 10 to 15,000 is going to be enough?
Hmm.
No. So pre-need makes sense from that perspective. That's with the
Right.
family.
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, from the funeral home perspective, okay, we also educate funeral homes, because you have funeral homes that are licensed,
Hmm.
okay, to
Right.
conduct pre-need, because not only do we have to be licensed as pre-need providers, okay, but the funeral home has to be licensed as well.
Right.
Well, there are funeral homes that aren't licensed, and
Are you kidding? The
you
funeral
know,
homes that are not licensed?
they're not licensed to do pre-need.
Pre-need.
Okay, you
Okay.
have to be licensed to conduct funeral business, but they're not licensed to do
Okay.
pre-need.
I got
So
it.
they only handle at need.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
The problem is if you're only handling at need, you have potentially millions of dollars sitting in your files
Mm-hmm.
of family members
Right.
who you've helped bury their mother, their father, their grandparent, their child, and they too need something in place. So we come along and we help those funeral homes that are licensed to do pre-need, and we provide soldiers, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
to work with those families
Mm-hmm.
from an aftercare perspective.
Right.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Client, we buried your mom, and this is as an extension of the funeral home. We took care of your mom's service 6 months, a year ago. How are you doing?
Right.
Okay, did you need anything from the funeral home?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Um, you know, was there anything that could have been done differently, done better? We also wanted to share with you a program that the funeral home has, which allows you to put your final wishes in place so
Mm-hmm.
things go very smoothly.
Right.
And you can lock a portion of those in at today's cost, saving you money, peace of mind.
Right.
Okay. And the funding will be in place. So 20, 30, 40 years from now, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
don't have to pay retail prices at need like you all did for mom.
Right. Okay. I see what you're
And
saying.
we set the appointment to go see him.
Right.
Now the business of that for the funeral home is that increases the funeral home's asset base.
Right. There you go. Mm-hmm.
Okay, along with the fleet, along with the building, along
Right.
with the equipment and so forth, you got pre-need, which is a financial asset because that's 6,000, 7,000, ten
Almost
thousand
guaranteed
per
time
application.
how many
That's
people.
guaranteed to come forward at some
Right.
time.
And if
So
let's say they have a base of 250 clients that they've done in the last 10 years, that right there is a solid base of income.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there again, that's got to be, you got to mine that. You got to go into those files
Right.
and have soldiers on the ground to make those contacts, meet them either at the funeral home or at their home,
Right.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
and share with them the power of pre-need
Right.
and how to make that very palatable financially so
Mm-hmm.
that they can go ahead and put that in place.
Right.
Okay. There
Uh-huh.
again, a lack of knowledge. If you talk to
Mhm.
most people, they're unaware of pre-planning. They're unaware of pre-need.
Yeah.
Most agents are
Mhm.
unaware of pre-need.
Right.
So it's a huge opportunity
Mm-hmm.
for the family, for agents, for
Mm-hmm.
funeral homes, and we have positioned our business to go ahead and provide that education.
Mm-hmm.
Our company is called Senior Consolidated Planning and Consulting.
Right.
So it's kind of like a catch-all, focusing on the senior market, but
Right.
we also don't leave out business owners. We don't leave out clergy.
Right.
Okay, we don't leave out entrepreneurs
Mhm.
and those who are single and middle class and so forth.
Cover
Those are the ones
everybody.
we help. Yep, absolutely.
Definitely. Wonderful. Now, and that, okay, which is great. Now, now I want to go back a little bit. Um, Mr. Coco talked about biblical principles,
Yes,
working the financial system using biblical principles. Elaborate on that a little bit.
man. Everything that we do
Mhm.
is based biblically.
Right.
We learned as kids.
Mhm.
My mother, God rest her soul, Olivia Fatherly.
Mhm.
We grew up in the church. I'm a fourth generation in my church, St.
Right.
John Progressive Missionary Baptist Church here in Tampa,
Right.
Florida. I'm also the drummer of 35
Oh,
years.
yeah, you're a drummer, man, drummer boy. That's
Hey
good.
man, started on Mama's pots and pans, you know it.
That's
So
wonderful.
it's in who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mike himself, he is a servant. He has a servant's heart,
He does.
and he is working very diligently in his church to accomplish some things because he has a call on his life as well.
Right.
And so we've dedicated not only ourselves but our business to helping God's people.
Right.
And at the core of that are biblical principles. How do you show love for God? It's how you treat one another.
Right.
Okay, it's those things that we have built our lives on. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Right.
Okay, what you do unto the least of these, you do unto me.
Right.
So we are bound and compelled to serve God's people. That has been a request that I've made unto God.
Right.
God, use me in your service. Now, that could come at a price, because then that opens you up to be used by God and how He sees fit.
Right.
That's not always, roses.
No, it comes with a price. So there's a,
Right.
I mean, there's a term that I see and I hear sometimes. It's called servant leadership.
Yes.
Servant leadership, and I like that
Right.
term a lot.
Absolutely.
And that ties in good with the financial freedom through biblical principles.
Yes.
You know, I
Yes.
mean, wow, that's heavy. That's deep. That is deep. Financial freedom,
Absolutely.
biblical principles. And if you know, like I said, I'm the most optimistic person that I know, and I always see the good in everything, the good in everybody. If
Yes.
somebody disappoints me, then that person just leaves me. I don't get upset. I don't get mad because I work on my own biblical principles. I
Right.
believe everything is good in this world. This I'm not naive to say that there's negative. There is
Right.
negative, but I keep my glass always full.
That's
My
right.
glass is never empty, always full, no matter
That's right.
what day. And the other thing that I live by a lot is by gratitude. I
Amen.
am in gratitude every day of my
Have
life,
to be. Yes.
every single day for everything. When I give, let me give you a statistic. Every day in America, 1 million people, Michael, don't wake up. 1 million people don't wake up every day in America, and we did. We woke up. So what are we? What do we have to worry about? We woke up. I mean, if we
Yes, sir.
didn't wake up, it'd be over. But now we have an opportunity to do well, to serve each other, to elevate. My thing, like I said to you, is to elevate each other.
That's
Elevate.
right. That's
Take
right.
it. We want to go to another level.
That's right.
We can go far by ourselves, but with a team, a small team, you can go so much further.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that is
Absolutely.
basically biblical principles.
Yes. Yep. You mentioned yesterday having a small network of people around you,
Right.
and that's critical, because nobody achieves any level of success all on their own.
No, sir.
Okay. That's why when I hear this self-made millionaire, nobody's self-made anything,
No. No,
because
no.
at the
It's
end of
funny you
the
say
day,
that. About
you know,
about 3 months ago, I gave a talk to a group to a Catholic church. My friend of mine
uh,
invited me to, and he had a lot of men on there who had lost their jobs, went into divorce, and the topic of my speech was, "There's nothing like the self-made man." It's a myth. It's a myth. Nobody's self-made. So I'm glad you touched on that because I gave a talk
yes,
on that. There's nothing like the self-made man.
nothing.
So you're so right.
That's right. That's right. So especially in this time, we have this thing here in the United States that and it's probably all over, but I can speak about the United States because this
Right.
is where I'm from.
Sure.
Where it's all about being what I've done, what I do, pop my collar, and listen, you don't even have the ability to wake your own self up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't even have the ability to make your blood run through your body.
That's right.
You don't have the ability to make yourself breathe and everything that's going on. You don't have any ability to do that.
Right.
That is all beyond you. That is God. Period.
It's a
So
gift.
now we have a part in our own success, because there again, you know, we have education that's imparted into us, skills that have been imparted into us, and it's our responsibility to put those into practice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a part, but we're not all. No man is an island.
And let me
Okay?
tell you, I live and die by that philosophy. I'm big into networking. Big into networking.
Yes, yes,
Now, when I network, I am selective. I need people of the similar mindset.
yes.
I don't need anybody with a cannot do attitude because I have no first of all, you think outside the box. I
Uh
have
huh.
no box. There is no box.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
but you have to align yourself with people who think like you, who
That's
go
right.
getters, Sometimes it's not always going to be rosy. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall. But it's in the failure, it's in these dark moments that we learn.
That's right.
That's where the growth is. When things ain't going right, cash flow is
Right.
low, then you start, well, how do I recreate myself?
That's right.
Because let me tell you,
That's right.
this world has changed, Michael. It's changed. It's not going
Big
back to
time.
where it used to be.
Big time.
It is not going back to where it used to be.
Big
So we
time.
have to, I had to recoin myself. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not an inspirational speaker. I had to recoin myself after I looked at it. I basically chose a title, Next Level Leadership. Next level. Okay? You got to go to that next level. You cannot
Good.
stay the same. If not, you will never grow. You never advance. So. But anyway,
Good.
it's not about me. I just wanted to interject that and tell you, how you have the same. You have a good mindset.
I appreciate that, man. And as you were speaking, I was reminded of, so many people stay within their comfort zone, but everything they want is outside that comfort zone.
Right? Got to stretch.
So
Got to stretch.
how do you
Got to stretch.
how do you ever expect to have the lifestyle that you want, the things that you want,
Mhm.
those things that you dream about, those things that you cry about secretly? How do you ever intend to have any of that
Right.
if you are stuck within your comfort zone? You don't want to stretch. You
Right.
don't want to speak to people. And I'm sorry, if you don't know how to speak to people on every level, it's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, my brother. It's
You
not
you
going
you got to be able to
to.
speak to people on multiple levels, from the
Mhm.
CEO to the guy on the street. You
Yeah.
got to, because your blessing,
Hmm.
okay, whatever that is, whatever you want that to be, your blessing is outside of you. Okay, everything that you need to be successful is right around you, and unless you talk to people, meet people, let people know what you're looking for, that you'll never get what you are praying for,
Right.
what you desire.
Hmm.
Okay,
Hmm.
you just have to.
Got
So
to.
that's critical. It's
Indeed.
critical.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You said a mouthful. You said a mouthful. Well, it's been such a wonderful time meeting you and
Absolutely.
getting to know you and what your mission is. Your mission, like you said, is biblical principles,
Yes.
empowering people, financial in all of their finances, but most of all, you focusing on the end, what you call it, the
End of life decision.
end of life decisions. There you go.
Yep.
Making those decisions
Yep.
which are critical for people. And
Absolutely.
it's only education. A lot of us don't know about. I didn't know much about it. When I talked to you, I mean, it gave me a whole new perspective. 'Cause
Absolutely.
we go on with
Absolutely.
our lives every day, and we don't realize that you never know. One day, you may not be here. So it's critical. People don't have to know. You
Yep.
you have to
Yep.
address it, and then people like you and Michael and Mr. Coker our expert. He's been there 42 years, so I definitely give him props for that. He
Absolutely.
knows his stuff. He knows his stuff.
Absolutely. Yep.
Definitely.
And I must say that, another um, fire that where that comes from in me is the fact that I took care of sick parents from the age of
Yes.
17 to
Yes.
39 years old.
You were a caregiver
Imagine,
for
you
your
know,
parents.
uh,
Yeah.
I had just started the University of South Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and my first semester,
Right.
my mother was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. She was 46 years old.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 46.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, having two young sons to raise, and, she had her husband at the time, my stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, then for a solid year, she didn't drive.
Wow.
A year later, my stepfather was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. He was a veteran, going out to the VA every single month
Wow.
for eyes, for podiatry, because he had diabetes, for
Mm-hmm.
medicines and so forth. He smoked the pipe for 34 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so when
Yeah.
he was diagnosed, I got his records, and all through his records, cough with sputum, productive cough, and so forth, but they never gave him an x ray.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, so that began a trajectory. He was given 4 months to live.
Right.
God blessed him with 22 months. My
Wow.
mother was given 6 months to live. God blessed her with 22 years with
Wow.
that same heart.
Wow.
Her prayer was,
Mm.
Lord, let me see my baby son graduate high school.
Right.
Okay.
Which is
So
Delatoro, right?
that's Del Toro. That's correct. So she was able to see him graduate high school, see
Mm-hmm.
him graduate with his bachelor's degree, his master's degree,
Mm-hmm.
see him have his two gorgeous children, I call them the girls now,
Right.
Miracle and Hope.
Mm-hmm.
Both the Miracle is 13 going on 14 in
Right.
January. Hope is about to be 13. So,
Right.
God called her. God called my mother home, April 2013. But He blessed her with 22 years. When man said
Amazing.
that she had 6 months,
6 months. Exactly.
God said 22 more years with
Talk,
that same heart.
talk,
Now,
talking about
the
biblical
the
principles.
the
Believe it.
the now the care was because once my stepfather passed away in 95, my brother went off to the Florida State University in 95. So it was just me and mom,
Wow.
okay,
So you
for
know
the
for
following
22
18
years.
years.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
so I had to change her primal core drip so that her heart could settle and
Mm-hmm.
rest. So a
Mm-hmm.
primal core drip, the battery had to be changed every day. The bandage had to be changed every day. The tubing had to be changed every day.
Yeah.
Driving her, I was working at Tampa General during that time as well. Um, and in the year 2000, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor that
Wow.
had been there since I was like 12 or 13 years old, but it
Mm.
wasn't diagnosed till I was 26.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Okay,
But
so
but you've been through
life.
you've been through it, but you're so tough, man. You still, I mean, nobody would
Amen.
know if I didn't talk to you a couple of days yesterday, and then today, I didn't know. I mean, I saw De La Torre's story a little bit. He talked about it, but nobody knows the struggles that we go through.
That's right. That's
Nobody
right.
knows the struggles. They only see on the outside.
That's
So
right.
for you to have the determination to do what you do to educate for financial literacy,
That's right.
I commend you highly. I recommend it. Like I said,
God bless you,
it
man.
touches me when
God
I
bless
hear
you.
people like you try to help other people.
That's right.
You put yourself away, but I want to help. I want to educate you. I want to give you the financial literacy.
That's
'Cause
right.
I went through it with my parents,
Yep.
and it is what it is, but the fact that if you don't know, you don't know. So
That's
you need
right.
education,
That's it. That's
So
it. Always be a student.
always
Be a student.
all the time.
Don't be afraid of the things that you don't know. Learn about them. And now, because if you got a phone, you got a
Oh,
world
a
of
whole,
information.
whole world ahead of you,
So
right?
Google stuff.
Right.
You Google University.
Mm-hmm.
It's everything that you want to know about anything. Just Google it and
Google
learn
and
about
YouTube and YouTube. YouTube is everything's on YouTube.
it. YouTube, everything. You
Right.
know, so it's out there, and we've just dedicated, you know, to utilize our tool
Right.
to help people understand end of life decisions,
Right.
uh, investigate pre-planning, pre-funding, pre-arranging
Wow.
funerals, and taking
Wonderful.
the morbidity stigma out of it. Because there again, as we look on planning for
Right.
that time, protecting our loved ones from the financial catastrophe.
Right.
Okay, I
Mhm.
tell people all the time, I would rather help my mother pay for her funeral plan,
Right.
okay, rather than try to scratch and scrape
At
to
the
take
end.
care of her whole funeral.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. It's
Okay.
already in place. Then that's important. It has to be in place. Yeah.
Yep. One of the biggest differences is you're not paying for your funeral plan for the rest of your life. That's one of the biggest differences between uh, uh, prearranged funerals and final expense. Final expense, you're paying for that for the rest of your life,
Right. Exactly.
however long you're granted life.
Right. Exactly.
For a funeral plan, at max, you're looking at 10 years, and
Right.
it's paid for, done.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay,
That's critical. That is critical.
that
And
is
like you said, education is the key. I mean, when I listen talk to you, I listened to you guys yesterday. You talked about not talking about find the financial part first, giving the education so they understand the
right.
need. They understand the need, and then
Correct.
they have to take action and say, "Wow, I didn't know that,"
Right.
and which
Yep.
is critical. That I mean, I really appreciate you guys coming up with the education portion first. You know.
That's it.
So let
That's
me
it.
ask you though. So if anybody wants to get a hold of you and they need more information, how does one get a hold of Michael?
My they can call me. My telephone number directly is 813
Mm-hmm.
505
505.
6008,
Okay.
and they can reach me by email,
Mm-hmm.
and that's my name, Michael McNeal,
Right.
and that my last name is spelled McNeal
Right.
at seniorconsolidated.com.
Senior
Michael McNeal at
Senior Consolidated.com.
seniorconsolidated.com.
Good. So the name of the company again is what? The whole company?
Senior Consolidated Planning and Consulting.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Wonderful, wonderful. And then, like I said, we want to give reference to our friend Michael Coker.
Absolutely. That is
He's
that's my ace. We've known each other for about 20 years, but we came together to form this company actually October 18th, 2019.
Wonderful.
And we got licensed and in March of this year.
Good.
And now we are licensed in the state of Florida, Georgia, Alabama, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, and expounding as well. So my role as CEO is to provide the pathway for the expansion. And right now we're focusing in Florida and Georgia. And we are looking for agents who either are licensed in pre-need or desire to be licensed in pre-need. And we have the mechanism in place for training and so forth. So that's definitely something that we want to also help, especially those Medicare agents who routinely right now, this is their busy season.
Oh, this is a medication. I mean, I get so many calls and emails, and they just it's just overwhelming. So let me well anyway, we'll talk a little bit about it afterwards. We'll talk. But anyway, I just wanted to say it's about it's about our time now. But I wanted to thank you for being in the think tank, my brother.
Man, I can't thank you enough just from the interaction to seeing you at the office to today. And you mentioned you like people of action, to get things done immediately. And so when we were at the office yesterday, man, let's go ahead and do it, because it's those opportunities that come, those blessings that come. And many times we ace ourselves out of blessings because we want to think about it, which is really a fear tactic for moving forward. And opportunities don't go away; they just go to other people.
That's it. So I mean, I'm an action taker. I'm an action taker. And I know, I told Mike the same thing. We just basically, if we meet and we see there's some synergy, let's not wait 2 weeks. Okay, what's your schedule tomorrow? Let's get it done. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Love it.
Yeah, right. But anyway, man, I want to really thank you for being in the think tank. You gave a lot of value. It was just phenomenal. And then the education portion, the biblical principles portion. I mean, I learned a lot, and because I'm a student of life, and I learn a lot. And end of life is one thing that I don't think about. Most people don't think about, but it's a necessary evil.
That's right.
You have to deal with it, no matter what. You have to deal with it. So I want to thank you so much for being in the think tank again. Man, you take care of yourself. God bless you. And we'll definitely be in touch a lot more often.
Absolutely, Brother Martin. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for extending the invitation to be in the think tank. And this is definitely something that is sorely needed. So I commend you, and anything that we can do to further your goal and your mission, count me in.
Good, my brother. Take care of yourself, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right. God bless.
Bye now. God bless you too.
Bye-bye.